So, good morning, everybody. And today we have 8,315 cases of COVID-19 in Albany County. We have an increase from last night of 205 new positive cases since yesterday. There are currently 3,279 people under mandatory quarantine. And out of that, 25 have close contact to positive cases, 14 are healthcare workers, and 166 at this time does not have a clear source of infection. Over the last 5 days, there's been an average of 181.6 new positive cases each day. Yesterday it was 176. As of today, 29,144 people have now completed quarantine. Of those, 6,766 tested it positive of the virus and have recovered. 337 new recoveries since yesterday. There are now 96 people currently in the hospital. Yesterday we had 94, but we had 15 new admissions overnight and 13 discharges. So, again, our hospitalization's going up, and with the microcluster, that's what it's based on. Hospitalization beds and staffing and ICU rooms and everything else. We have 15 patients currently in the ICU. Yesterday that was 15. Just to kind of give you a little insight of the hospitalizations from the virus, there are 11 people between the ages of 25 and 49 that are hospitalized. There are 46 people hospitalized between the ages of 50 and 74, and that's the largest number of age groups that we have, the 46. The best way to avoid this is wearing a mask, coughing into your arm, cleaning your hands, and staying 6 feet apart. The masks do help. It's not the cure-all, but it helps and it stops the spread, and it can stop this infection from going around. If you look at the World Health Organization and you go to their chart and you can see and do a little fact-finding yourself, they're saying there's like 1 in 378 Americans that are now COVID-19 positive. You can fact-check it yourself. If you look at what's going on, not just here in New York State, but around, you look at El Paso, Texas, you look at Reno, Nevada, taking a parking garage and making it into a hospital. It's on the news, you can check it out. You look early on in New York State when we had to take Central Park and we took the Javits Center and we took the Harbor and made makeshift hospitals. That's what's going on. You can stack up all your supplies and all your ventilators, but we need nursing staff. And I said yesterday to everyone, anyone that has medical skills, please volunteer your time. You're needed everywhere, not just in nursing homes or hospitals, but with our medical corps, especially when you go to get this shot out. Early on when this started, we had a lot of nurses and doctors come from other parts of the state. You're not going to get anyone out of North Dakota, Wisconsin now, Kentucky. Their hospitals are jammed. El Paso has people, unfortunately, in tractor trailers and morgues. It's exploding all over the United States. So please, people, do the right thing. Help us get through this, and we will get through it. And again, you can just go to the World Health Organization, you go to the CDC website, and you can see all the stats for yourself. So as we look at the microcluster zones, we know that bars, restaurants, gyms, everything's included in that. And I've been saying for 9 months, fighting for the backbone of our communities. The backbones are our little businesses. That's what makes up our neighborhoods. That's what makes you live in a neighborhood. I've said this time and time again. It's where you get your first experience at a job, or you just work for the first job you ever had. And the people that you meet, and they become like family in your neighborhood. The little corner stores that you get your coffee at, or you might just go in and buy a sandwich, or whatever it might be. They become like family, and the problem is that they're going to disappear in this new world that we live in if we don't try to continue to support them. But by doing the right thing and staying apart, we can do this. Everyone's reimagined their work areas, from shopping online, if you don't want to go there, to deliveries, to picking it up yourself at the door and not have to going in. So I am encouraging people to stay home, but you can still do the right thing and support your local businesses. And that's why on Friday, I announced the cap on third-party food deliveries at 15%. It was the right thing to do. I wish I did it sooner. I was hoping that the state was going to do something and move on this, but it was something that was necessary, because as I talked to restaurant owners, And you're talking to how much money they were spending out on third party, and having a tough enough time to pay their bills. It was difficult for them. And through this COVID-19 crisis and everything that were going on, we want our businesses there. We want to support them, and we want them there in the future as we go forward. But one of the best ways to go do that is by, unfortunately, companies like Grubhub and DoorDash are charging unfair prices to restaurants and customers. And I said this before, please, the drivers get tipped separately. So continue to tip the drivers. We want you to support the drivers that are going out there and keeping us safe by them going out and doing this. But one of the great persons I've talked about this was Jason Pierce, who owns Savoy's on Lark Street, and everyone else that's using like apps and how to go out and eat. Please help us support these restaurants. Help us do the right thing by getting it out there. And I also say, as we're looking at this, please, this stimulus package that we thought was a go. The county last week was looking, I think they said, was I okay getting a $9 million bailout? I was like, yes, it's a step in the right direction. So I went from $9 million to zero. And, regardless of party affiliations, this is a bill that not needs just to bail out small businesses, towns, cities, and villages, but hospitals, the arts, to save the arts, and Broadway and everything else. And it's not meeting that. And, please reach out to your senator, your Congress, get this bill passed, because we went from $2.2 trillion to $960 billion to now nothing coming to the frontline counties that are on the front line of this with our health departments, delivering these services, making sure we get through this crisis. And for whatever reason, the Senate does not think that we are entitled to bailouts. So please, I can't thank Senator Schumer and Gillibrand enough for championing this, and Paul Tonko and Delgado, but we need everyone to reach out, because if we don't get bailed out, the same reason we're here for small businesses and everything else, things are going to continue to deteriorate. People need it more now than ever before. You see food pantries that have lines that I've never seen before, that breaks your heart. People that never needed food that need food now. So please, again, take the time, donate to the food pantry, donate where you can, but we need to make sure that we do this. One of the things that they have limited restaurants to 50%, and when the weather was nice, it worked out. You had the patios, you had the tents, they got creative. New York City restaurants now are closed down. And it's challenging, and as we go into different cluster zones, depending on what happens, it's going to make it tougher. How does a restaurant survive with 25% inside? It just doesn't. The math doesn't add up. You can sit there all day long, but the math doesn't add up. So who better to have here but Melissa Fleischute, who is the president and CEO of New York State Restaurants Association, to talk about why this is important, what we're doing by putting a cap on there, and the survival of restaurants going forward. Melissa.
Thank you so much, and thank you for inviting me today. I'm glad to be here with you. And County Executive McCoy, first and foremost, thank you for understanding the plight of the restaurant industry. You articulated it very well. To start way back in March, the restaurant industry immediately had such a dramatic impact from the pandemic. We laid off or furloughed 80% of our employees across the state. That translated to 527,000 people laid off from the restaurant industry. Sales were immediately impacted. $1.9 billion, billion with a B, lost in the state of New York alone in March. Another $3.6 billion in April while we continued to be shut down. But you're right, we had everybody come together. We had support from our local governments. We really appreciate all the expanded outdoor space that we were allowed to use once we were able to reopen in, I guess, phase 2.5 for outdoor dining, with the help of the governor and the lieutenant governor especially, to get us reopened for outdoor. That really helped in the summer. We certainly aren't back to 100%. Surprisingly, even with indoor dining at 50%, expanded outdoor dining and takeout and delivery, restaurants really didn't make it back to 100% of their sales or 100% of their staff. We're at about 60 to 70% employment back from pre-COVID at this point. And you're right, we have a dark winter ahead of us. We have a large number of our regions in upstate New York in the clusters. We have New York City shut for indoor dining. So everybody coming together, federal stimulus package would really help get us through right now. But every level of government can do their part, and we thank you so much for addressing the delivery issue. Delivery fees can be as high as 30% on a restaurant trying to provide that service to its guests, in addition to the fees that the customers are charged by these delivery services as well. So putting a cap on it for now is very helpful to the industry as they try to get through this. We've seen many local restaurants here in our county look to limit, indoor seating this year. I'm saddened to say I've never seen restaurants choose to hibernate before, and that's a new phrase that we've never used in the restaurant industry, but restaurants that are voluntarily shutting down inside or closing permanently or closing temporarily for the winter. So the next couple of months are crucial. We're doing everything we can in the restaurant industry to keep everybody safe and healthy. If you look at our guidelines, they're incredibly detailed, and sanitation in the restaurant industry is a huge priority every day, no matter if there's COVID or not. So just want to let everybody know that our guests and our staff, their safety is our first priority. So continue to support your local restaurants. Like you said, tip your delivery workers, tip your wait staff. But thank you so much for recognizing our plight and taking action to do something about it. We really appreciate that.
Thank you, Melissa. And I know that they're going to have a lot of questions for you. And thank you for coming on, because not just being president and CEO of the New York State Restaurants Association, but being on the front line and talking to these owners. And it's heartbreaking when you go and I go meet with them and I talk to them and they're using their life savings or the college money they set aside for their kids, or they're choosing not to pay their own rents or mortgages on their personal homes because they're just trying to hopefully keep it open for another month or two to make it. And on the cusp of possibly being shut down again, because our numbers are going sky high, not just here in the capital region, but through the whole state. It's going to be a harder time, and it is ironic that you said about being shut down for the winter, and I'm seeing more businesses just decide and shut down for 4 or 5 months. Who can do that and then reopen and try to get your customers to come back and support local? Listen, I know, look at these, I say mom and pops businesses because they are a fabric of our community in these restaurants. Support them. I know it's easy to go on Amazon. I know it's easy to go to these websites and have the packages delivered to your house, but they have reinvented themselves, from the shops in Stuyvesant, Cross Gates, Colony Center. I could just go all over the county, and support local. Support local. If you want to see these shops, support local. And yep, you might pay a little bit more. But you got to remember, they're the ones keeping your property taxes down. They're the ones keeping your school taxes down. They're the ones that are paying for fire, EMS, and all the great services we have, because they're paying more than just a resident. So, think about Albany County this way. Our budget was roughly this new budget is going to be $719 million. Out of that, $97 million just comes from residential homes. But now you throw commercial in there, it's a lot more. And it offsets to do a lot of great services like run our health department. So please take the time, shop local, support these businesses if you want to see them there when we get this vaccine out and we have the new world that we're living in. But I just want to remind everyone too, the Lark Street Bid has the holiday shopping guide on their website and ways that you can use it to shop through them. And again, you can just go out through any website, and everyone's gotten creative and find a safe way of shopping and supporting local. So please support local as we go forward. I do want to thank the legislature for helping us secure that $300,000 to get a grant out to these small businesses. But let's face it, it's a drop in the bucket, and though it sounds like a lot of money, I like to say, yes, look what we're doing, but it's really not a lot of money. It's not, there's a lot of businesses that this is going to affect, and it's going to be hard to decide who gets a grant and who doesn't, and it's going to be tough. And I've been dealing with this restaurant. It's been around a long time, and if they don't secure another grant, they're going to close. And it's been an icon of this community for generations, and and we're working with them. But the reality is that you're seeing more and more of that, and it's going to be tough. And so please do the right thing. Wear your mask, cough into your arm, clean your hands, stay 6 feet apart, and we'll get through this. We definitely will get through this. Just a little bit for people, I know people are probably out shopping because the media is reporting the big snowstorm we have coming in starting at 6 o'clock tonight. Please don't be like the typical run into the grocery stores and over mob it. Keep socially distanced. Hopefully you have the supplies that you need. I know that the governor hasn't done this in a while, but they used to give out the emergency bags for your cars and other things. Just make sure you have that supply at your house, and we'll get through that too. And we're expecting anywhere from 8 to 20 inches here in Albany County, but I'm hoping because we're in a little bit of a valley, it misses us. I don't think anyone's ready to shovel. I know I'm not, so, but I know what I'll be doing all night when it hits. So please make sure you slow down your speed, do the right thing. And we had a doctor coming on tomorrow to talk about a variety of things. We're probably going to push it off to Friday. So just to be on the safe side, because just like Melissa, he has a great message to put out there. To our DPW crews that are going to be out on the roads, I'll see you tonight as I always do in a snowstorm, but please stay safe out there yourself. And to wrap it all up, I just want to remind people, please go out and get tested. We're making it available. You have the testing sites at the Times Union Center again, Mondays and Fridays. Waterville Dome was last week, was only, but our partnership with Whitney Young, and I will say this to any church out there, to any organization, I'll give you a challenge. If you can give me at least 30 people that need to get tested to 50, we'll set it up and we'll get there. We'll get Whitney Young there, our partners with other people that we have to make sure you get tested. We'll come to you, but I just need you to sign up so we can do it. It's free if you go through Whitney Young. It doesn't cost you anything. If you have insurance, it's covered, great. If not, we'll pay for it. UOB needs the same thing, but with Whitney Young, it's 518-465-4771. And again, UOB 1-888-364-3065. I know there's some issues going on with some of the priority testing and all that stuff. We're working on it, and we're trying to find out. We still have not got the answer, which I'm not happy about, but we still haven't gotten the answer. So you Albany Price Chopper, CVS Priority 1, as always, go to our website, albanycounty.com, to see what testing sites are the closest to you, which the time waits are, and age requirement if you're looking for any of that stuff. Again, please use our mental health hotline. I've talked to more people, and I quit caffeine like 10 years ago. I drank more coffee these last 9 months than I have in my lifetime. But it's interesting people you meet at Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks and talking to them. I get it. It's a different world. And please call the line. Don't be ashamed. Don't be embarrassed, for your children. We don't know the answers. And it's just like this virus. What we were dealing with 9 months ago is so much more different than we're dealing with now. So at the end of the day, and everyone's stress level is different, some people hide it better than other people. Take that time, reach out to somebody, and let me tell you, if you have a stupid argument with somebody and you ever think of that friend that you had that you're like, man, I forgot why I was mad at him and I stopped talking to him, reach out to him, take the time, check on people, check on your neighbors. Be the great citizens of the state of New York and this county that I know everyone is. But our mental health is available 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., 518-269-6634. Our 24-hour sexual assault hotline number, 518-447-7716. To Karen Ziegler and her team, thank you for what you do day in, day out. I can't thank you enough. Our 211 and our New York State hotline number as always. But again, please keep your mask on. It does help. Stay apart and do the right thing. Stay safe and healthy out there.